Right, looks like I'm live. Let's see if anyone turns up. You never know. We've got 0 view. Oh, hello, we've got 3 viewers. I don't know where comments are going to turn up, if they are or not. Oh, there we go. Comments. Let's see if this works. Hello, everyone. See if anyone can respond to that, shall we? I'm not in the usual place downstairs with the books behind me. I'm currently in my son's bedroom. I don't know why. It's just one of those things we do. Different room each time. I'd use a different room. Maybe I'll use the polytunnel next time. Read from a polytunnel. Good mug. Nice bit of tea. I'm the only person who's commented, but that's fair enough. All I'm going to do tonight. Oh, hello, Kate. I've got someone from South Carolina. How mad is that? I still find that amazing. And Carol from Bristol. Nolene, Melly. Oh, I've dropped something. So yeah, here we are. So yeah, all I'm gonna. Oh, I do have food. I have lots of people saying about other things to have cheese with. So today I'm going to try this. It's an apple pie. I do have the cheese, and I do have the cake. What I'm having tonight is I'm having a cup of tea instead of beer, which is nice. Yeah, we've got, how many people? We've got 12 viewers. That's not too bad, is it? 12 people just tuning in to see me talk nonsense and read from the book. Oh, John from Yorkshire. Brilliant. That's what I like to see, a bit of Yorkshire. Well, simple order of the day. I've said hello. I'll read an extract, which will be me reading. It'll be as good as I can do. And there's a tiny little bit of news, sort of, not news, but newsy sort of stuff. Then Q&A, so I'll answer any questions. Not that you've probably got that many. And then that'll be it. Well, I'm doing this tonight. I usually do this the night before the launch, but obviously the book's out on Tuesday and this is Sunday. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've got boys tomorrow evening. So I'm busy tomorrow evening. So I'm doing it tonight on a Sunday, which is quite nice, actually. And yeah, so I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all excited about Blood Trail. I know I am. I can't believe it's book 10. That's 10 books in 22 months, which is bonkers and also brilliant. I mean, I started writing Grimm Up North 2 years ago this month, I think. Yeah, so it's mad. I wasn't expecting that one to sell, never mind to be on book 10 in 2 years. So thank you very much. It's quite encouraging, to say the least. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy writing them. And I will continue to do so, hopefully. So we've got someone from Devon now as well, which is good. I like that. So do we want to have a bit of an extract? Hopefully you'll have all read the bit that I sent out. There's the prologue. I sent that out in a newsletter. So if you are a VIP, then you can get the newsletters, which is quite nice. And there's lots of other stuff on the website that we'll be adding to if you're a member of the VIP. There are photos and so on, and we're trying to sort out a map and other things, which would be nice. And other special bits of writing that will only be available to VIPs. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So yeah, the prologue that you'll have got will have given you some idea of one of the characters in Blood Trail, but you kind of don't find out who that is for a while. So you have the prologue, which sets things up in a mysterious fashion, and then you have chapter 1. Now I'll give you an overview of where the whole idea came from. I spoke with the owner of one of the pubs in West Witton. I can't remember her name. Well, that's bad. And she mentioned something called the burning of the Bartle. It's like, have you ever heard of this? And I'm thinking, we lived in the Dales and we never have. Turns out it's a thing that happens down Dale rather than up. So it's not something that happens around Hawes. It's very much located in West Witton, which is down towards Leyburn. And the Bartle, the burning of the Bartle, is something that's been going on for a very, very long time. And every year in August, on the Sunday or the Saturday, the weekend closest to St Bartholomew's or something like that day, the locals all gather together and they have this guy. Make this guy who's the Bartle. So like Guy Fawkes, we put the guy on top of the bonfire. In West Witton, they have this guy, and they have a couple of blokes. They carry him around West Witton, and they carry him from house to house. So there's got stops along the way through the village, And at each stop in this village, they read this poem called The Burning of the Bartle. And what this does is it traces an apparent or a supposed, whichever, or a legendary or a mythical trail that this Bartle fella took. Now, Bartle, we think, or they think, whoever they are, we don't know, the wizards, and they think that the Bartle is maybe a sheep rustler from many years ago, like centuries, who knows how many centuries, or some ne'er-do-well anyway, some dodgy person in the Dales that the locals chased. And it started on Pen Hill, and they chased him around Pen Hill, all loads of different places, and there are stops along this trail, and the locals sort of tripped him up and whatever, and eventually they grabbed him, they caught him, and he met his end at the hands of the locals. Bit of local justice. Clearly they'd had enough. So that's what the burning of the Bartle is about. So in the village, they have this Bartle, and they carry him around the village, stopping, and at every stop they read this poem, and they have a drink, so everyone gets a little bit tipsy. And in the end, what happens to the Bartle, is it's quite brutal, is they throw him against a dry stone wall, stab him, and then set him on fire, which I think is amazing. So yeah, I thought that was just an extraordinary little local custom that I'd never heard of, and I lived there, as a kid, and I'd never heard of it. So yeah, I thought that kind of got me going on this idea. So that was kind of the seed for Blood Trail, which is the book that's out on Tuesday. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a sip of tea, and I'm going to read you the end of chapter 1. So the bit that I sent out in was the prologue. So everyone, if you're a VIP, had a chance to read that. Doesn't matter if you haven't. And this bit is the end of chapter 1, which mentions the burning of the Bartle and gives you a kind of seed as to where things might go. So, are we sitting comfortably? Are we? We should be. Get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a biscuit, and I will read a few hundred words from the end of chapter 1 of the new book, Blood Trail. Right, here we are. Okay. The August evening was balmy, the air rich with the scents of high summer, and a land steeped in agriculture. Harry noticed notes of dry grass and pollen wafting in through his open window. Behind that was the occasional thin scent of sheep, and maybe, if he concentrated, he could just catch the peat of the moors and the heather burning up under the hot, early evening sun. Arriving in West Witton, Grace parked up and led Harry back into the village. A bellowing voice called out, and Harry saw Matt waving to them. With him, in her wheelchair, was Joan, and in her arms their newborn daughter, sound asleep. "Look like a proper little happy family, don't they?" Grace said, waving back. "They do that," agreed Harry, "though I wonder sometimes if that's Matt's default setting, being happy, or at least generally positive no matter what the day's been like. World's most content man? Something like that." "Now then," Matt said, as Harry and Grace arrived. "You ready for this?" "As resi as I can be, I think," said Harry. Then he looked down at Matt's wife. "How are you, Joan, and the wee one?" "We're all doing fine," Joan said. "Seems I love this little bugger more and more each day, even though that seems impossible." Harry could see the tiredness in her eyes, her lids half closed, though her smile was enough to keep the weariness at bay. "Pleased to hear it," he said. "I'm assuming Matt's doing his fair share and looking after you both." "Always," Joan said. "Come on, we'd better get on with it," said Matt. "It'll be starting soon." Harry fell into step behind Matt as he pushed Joan along, his pace swift and steady. Once in the village, they made their way along to where a crowd was gathering. Harry could make out in the centre 2 men holding a dummy between them, like a bonfire night guy, holding him up as though he was a little the worse for wear. Then, after gathering everyone together, the older of the 2 men shouted out in rhyme. "On Penhill crags he tore his rags, Hunter's Thorn he blew his horn, Capelbank Stee happened a misfortune and brek his knee, Graskill Beck he brek his neck, O Adam's End he couldn't fend, Graskill End will mek his end, Shout, lads, shout. And the crowd cheered. I'll be honest, Harry said, shaking his head, confused and screwing his face up a little. I've not the faintest idea what it was he was saying, or what any of it meant. The two men were then presented with a couple of glasses of whisky from a nearby house. These were sunk swiftly, and they moved on. What it is, you see, explained Matt as they followed on, is a rhyme about the chasing of the Bartle. There's even a little trail you can walk around if you want. It's quite popular. You can see all the places mentioned on a nice little afternoon stroll. Grace will take you one day, I'm sure. But does anybody actually think this happened, though? Harry asked. That some poor sod was chased down by the locals, stabbed, then burned? Matt went to answer, but was interrupted by a voice from behind Harry that he didn't recognise. If you ask me, we could do with a little more of it around here. Too bloody right, agreed another. And then a general murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, chilling Harry's blood just enough to stop him dead. So, there you go. That is the end of chapter 1. So that's Harry and Grace. They've driven over to, whichever side that is, driven over to West Witton, and they've joined this parade going around West Witton, and they've joined in with the crowd, following the Bartle. It's taken from house to house, as I explained. They have the whiskey, and they read this poem every time, at every stop. It's the burning of the Bartle, and they finish it with "Shout, lads, shout," which is kind of funky. And then bad things happen, because obviously they've now got these locals saying, "Hey, we need a bit of that justice round here, don't we?" So yeah, hopefully that's got you intrigued. It had me intrigued enough to write the book, which has come out at, I think, maybe 300 or 400 slightly longer than the last book, which basically means it's the same length. So another 86,000 word book for you all, nice and thick. I hope you really like it. It's quite a mystery, I have to say. Bit twisty turny, a few little old red herrings in there, I hope. But yeah, this is a strange moment for an author, because you're a bit excited about a new book, but you're also a little bit nervous. And by nervous, and by a little bit, I mean terrified and very. Because you send out a new book, it's written now, it's done. I can't suddenly edit it and change it all like that, typing like this, like a mad thing, like that can't happen at all. It's out, so some people will like it, and some people won't like it, and that's just all part of being an author. So I obviously hope that the majority of people like it. But yeah, so for the next few days, it'll be a mix of terror, abject terror, and deep-seated crippling terror. Just the fear that every author gets. You talk to every author, they're all the same. We'll all say, yes, it's very, very scary. But we also keep doing it because we love writing. What comments have I got here? Let's have a look. Hello from Eden Valley in Cumbria. Oh, Eden Valley's lovely. I went to university in Cumbria, Fiona. I lived in Ambleside and Bowness for 4 years. It was fantastic. Glass of wine, very good idea. I'm not reading my books on Audible. Why? Because Aubrey's brilliant at them. That's why. But thank you, Louise. That's a nice comment. Mary is having a nice pinotage, which is nice. Could go well with a dot of cheese and cake, and it really could. I have a nice voice. That's very kind of you to say so. I don't think I do at all. Who does actually like their own voice? If you notice that, your voice that you hear in your head, it's never the one that everyone else hears. And when you hear a recording of yourself, it's like, that's a bit odd. That's what people hear. And I don't really like my voice. But thank you. Vivian's getting her copy tomorrow. I've actually just ordered a copy myself so that it will arrive on Tuesday, on book launch day. I just thought it'd be nice, because why not order your own book? I mean, you should really, shouldn't you? So that's what I'm looking forward to on Tuesday. That'll be good fun. What else have we got? Hi from Stirling, so up in Scotland. I'm intrigued about Harry and Co. I'm rereading them all in preparation for this one. Are you, Joe? All of them? That's a lot of reading. The books have got longer. The first one, Grimm Up North, was 64,000, and they're now 86,000. And the reason really is, it's because the first story obviously had Grimm was the main thing, and he was meeting the other characters, so we didn't have much going on there. It was just Harry Grimm's story. But then in book 2, which was I think was around 70,000 words, obviously a few more of the characters there. We get to meet them. We get to meet them and talk to them and learn a bit more about them. Then as the series develops, they've all had their own little stories and their own little lives that have grown with the series. So in each book, it's not just the main story arc of Harry and the investigation and all that kind of thing. There's also Harry's other story arc with Grace, with Smudge, with Ben. Then you've got Ben's story arc. Then you've got what's going on with Matt and Joan, and they've just had a baby. You've got Jim, what's happening on the farm. You've got Gordy and Alice. You've got all kinds of crazy things going on. So that's why the books are slightly thicker now, which is no bad thing, I hope. And that's kind of a lot of the fun that I have with writing them, is that I get to have all these other things doing. But what you find is it becomes like, it's almost like knitting, and you've got a pattern. You're knitting away and different colours are coming in, blah, 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 blah. And then you realise that maybe this bit of the pattern doesn't work. So you like go back and you have to untangle that bit. And when you do, this bit down here needs to change. And then that means this bit needs to change. So you're constantly trying to re-knit this mad pattern. So when you're rewriting, you can't just like pull a thread in this and expect it all to be fine. You have to then track back and go all over the place. So that's quite a lot of fun. Oh, we've got some questions. Just a minute. Well, we've got one question. We've got... Oh, Joe's watching while walking the dog. Don't trip over. On that, I have a... This has happened before. So I spoke to my brother. He was on the phone a few years ago, and he was on his bike. I didn't know this, and he said, oh, I'm on my bike. I went, you're going to fall off your bike if you keep talking to me. And he went, no, I won't. Fell off his bike and ended up in the canal. So be careful, please. Joe? Right, I've got Penny Hacking. How did you choose Aubrey Parsons as a narrator? Well, that was what I did. I put a sample from Grimm Up North out on ACX, which is like this big bank of... It's the system that I use to put Audible books up onto Amazon. So I put a sample, 1,000 words or something up, and just invited auditions. I think I had a dozen people try, loads of different interpretations of Grimm. But Aubrey kind of nailed it, to be honest. He had the voice perfect. He's got that gravelly kind of voice as well, hasn't he? And he's got the sort of the Somerset accent as well, which was great. And he was able to do the Yorkshire. So he had the Somerset and the Yorkshire, which worked really, really well. So I had Aubrey read a bit more, and that was it. Aubrey got the gig, as it were, and he's done brilliantly. And he certainly seems to enjoy it. Spends time recording either at home or in his camper van, which is brilliant. So yeah, that's how I chose Aubrey. Do you sign your own books, Christine? So what you're asking is, when one of my books turns up at my house, do I sign it to Dave from Dave? No, but I might with this one because that's a great idea. That made me laugh. Louise brilliant, Aubrey's brilliant. Maybe you could read them together. No, but I'm going to suggest this to Aubrey, that we maybe do one of these for one of the books. So I think that would be a bit of a laugh if we did a little launch on Facebook together. So I don't quite know how we could easily sort that out, I'm sure. Easy peasy. I'm sure Aubrey would be up for it. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's quite a boast on your tea mug, Dave, but is it true? That's from my two boys, so maybe it is. Thank you, John. Am I writing more, Vivian? Yes. I'm on with book 11. Yeah, book 11 now. I've already put the blurb is up and you can pre-order that already. We've got people working on the cover. I'm planning that over the next week or two. So I've got a nice solid idea of, everything that's happening, and then I'll write it. And it has to get to the editor for sort of the end of July-ish time. And then we work on it through August, and there we go. It gets launched. So that's what happens with that. So yes, I am writing more. Joe enjoyed the Padre series. Well, that's quite unique in a Grimm reader, because a lot of people, it's a completely different thing. Those who've not read Padre, that's horror. So it's very, very different to Grimm. It's quite mad horror as well, military horror with all kind of Cthulhu crazy going on. But it's fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joe. It's been great getting to know Harry and his extended family. My throat's going, just a second. I have mentioned that the paperback is now available, haven't I? I'm sure I have, because I've said I've ordered it myself. But yes, anyway, you can order it. The paperback is up and live, so you can order that now. So I'm reminding you if I've already said it. I must have said it because I've said it. So I've said it again. Yeah, so if you want to order the paperback, order it now, and it will. And if you're a Prime member, it will turn up at your house. Wah wah wah. Hopefully, making that sound. That's how it should happen. I think the Amazon people should turn up going wah wah wah. Here's Dave's book. Wah wah wah. Just like that, and you will get the book on Tuesday, which is the day of launch, which would be kind of cool. And we can all go, yeah, and take photos of it and go, I'm amazing. Look at me reading this book. I'm reading it up a tree. I'm reading it over here. I'm reading it under the bed. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, so that's that. Morris was, where are you? Morris, Clay. We were in Hawes last week and had to look for the community centre. Not what we were expecting. That's because it's a community centre. It's just this little, tiny little place. Did you go in? Because I did. And they knew all about Grimm because they've had loads of people going in and asking, which is brilliant. And that happened. Obviously, my mate Dave, he runs Cockett's Butchers, and they have a lot of people go in and mention Grimm. So that's quite fun. Obviously, you know, good trade. I've helped there, which is nice. So keep going in, keep visiting, Dave, keep visiting community centre, speak to people. There are people in the area who read and know about Grimm. I was in the pub back in November that Grimm goes to, the Fountain Inn bar. Went to the bar with my mate Dave, and he said, "Oh, do you remember Dave used to live here?" And the lass behind there went, "Yeah, I'm reading one of his books." And it's like, way, really crazy. So I like that. It's about now that I should be having cake, which I'm going to do while I answer another question here. Oh, great. When is it out, Vivian? Book, well, as I say, you can order book 11 now, so it will be out. To do that, I have to put when it's out, and it's coming out on August the 31st, so 3 months, not long. And then book 12 will be August, September, October, will be the end of November, so 3 months after that. So I've written sort of 5.5 novels a year for the past 2 years, so I'm just going to slow that down slightly to 4 books a year from now on, so it's still one every 3 months. And the aim is for that is to sort of let the brain relax a little bit more, so that I can then think of maybe other things as well. Because I've mentioned about doing another series, and I'd really quite like to do that, so that I'm not just doing Grimm, but I've got another crime series maybe as well, which would be really good fun. Hayley Smith has asked, will Robbie Kett be paying another visit to Harry? Perhaps Logan too. Now, those of you who don't know what Hayley's on about, Robbie Kett is the detective in a Norfolk crime series written by my writing mate Alex Smith, and Logan is a detective based up in Fort William in Scotland, written by my mate J.D. Kirk, who's also, his real name is Barry Hutchison, who lives in Fort William. And the three of us have created a little kind of world where our detectives know each other in weird ways. Obviously, we've killed each other, as some of you know, we've killed each other off in various books. So I used Barry's name in, I think it was book 2 in Best Served Cold. But yeah, so what happened was I got an email from Alex end of the summer last year, I think it was, saying, Dave, Harry's just turned up in a book. He was on the phone with Kett, my detective. I didn't realise it was going to happen. Can you just check that it makes sense? So I then had to check this conversation between my detective, Harry, and my mate's detective, Kett. So they had this relationship, and they apparently knew each other from an investigation in London years ago, which was kind of funky. And then I think it was Barry's last book. There's an investigation that's talked about, and Grimm does turn up in Barry's book at one point, which is nice. And in the book that came out last, the One Bad Turn book, you'll have read that Harry goes to visit DCI Kett down in Norfolk, and DCI Kett is the detective from my mate's books, Alex. So they know each other. And we keep talking about these plans. We do have plans to sort of work together on something, and as authors, not necessarily write a book together. We might do, you never know. But you know, we've created this world, and we want sort of to bring the readership together a bit more. It's just but we're all three so busy, so we have like this conversation every week. We go, right, this week we're going to get together and we're going to do this amazing thing, and then the week passes, and the following week we'll go, right, this week we're going to get together and do this really amazing thing, and then the week goes past because we've been busy, and then the following week we're going, right, we're going to get together, we're going to do this really amazing thing. So we're all as bad as each other. We've all got, you know, busy lives, so but that's what we are. We do really want to do something together. Who knows what it'll be. But we'll see. Oh, we've got some more here, haven't we? Yes, it was killing Barry in the slurry pit, Christine. Well done. That's exactly what happened. Oh, we went to the cheese factory, Morris. Well done. I haven't been there myself. Killing Barry in the... Sorry, where are we? Where are we? Don't forget Hoon. He'd be the Hoon in the Dales. Hoon is a character from Barry's books who's quite inexperienced and now has his own series. Anyway, said I was going to eat something because I do that on these videos. I also have cake, which I will munch. But this is something that loads of people are coming back and saying, apple pie and cheese. I've never had apple pie and cheese, so I think it's only right that I give it a go. Particularly as so many of you who've never had it have gone for cheese and cake. So with the apple pie, I'm going for a bit of cheddar. Oh, I'm living on the edge, living dangerously. So I've got a bit of the old apple pie. Ooh. Which is always good, isn't it? Why did I not know of this before? Apple pie and cheese. I suggest all of you, when this is over, you buy an apple pie. You eat it with some cheese. It's brilliant. It should be a deep dish apple pie, clearly. I rushed out and provided myself with a little apple pie, but it's still very tasty. Christine said, we need an author event. Bring John Mayhew and Louise Ross as well. I met Louise at the London Book Fair. She's very nice. Hugely successful, clearly. John Mayhew I've known for years. Met up a couple of years ago with John. We've done events together, and he's doing well as well. But yeah, we have said we should do an author event. Again, it's right, this week we're going to get together and we're going to do this really amazing thing. And that's part of the discussion, is one of the really amazing things we want to do is an event, which would be a laugh. It might happen, it might not, but you never know. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted about that. What other things have we got on here? Who would play Harry on TV? People have asked that. I haven't the faintest idea. Really no idea at all. I've got an agent now who is keen to look at taking on the TV and film rights, which would be nice. Doesn't mean anything will happen, because what often happens with this kind of stuff is that TV companies, film companies, they'll buy the rights of something, often to prevent everyone else from making it. They sort of buy loads of rights, and then they've got the choice, and then this prevents other people doing it. So that's kind of the rights world is weird, and there's lots of other things going on. There's lots of other crime stuff out there with lots of people selling their rights. So, but you never know. That might be fun. I've always said my stuff is kind of death in paradise in Harriet country, which is kind of what it is. It's also slightly Midsummer Murders-ish, I suppose. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? But yeah, it would be nice to see it on TV. But I have no idea who would play Harry. Maybe you people have an idea. If you do, post it on my Facebook page. That'd be quite interesting. Post a little photo, who it is, why you think they should be. Actually, all the different characters. Maybe just... I should set this up as a thing. What have we got? As you have the new series brewing away in your mind, do you know roughly how the Grimm series will end? Last scene, for example. Or do you have various endings in mind? Might we get Christmas specials, etc.? Right, at the moment, I haven't the faintest idea how it would end. I have this idea in my head that I'd like to do 24 books, just because it's a nice round number, isn't it? But that's a huge number of books. Okay, we're at number 10 now, and I'm obviously working on number 11 and number 12 this year. That'd be 12, 16, that's another 3 years of Grimm books, which is quite a lot. But we just, see people might get bored. So I don't know how it would end. As to Christmas specials, I do have in mind of doing like a Christmas special, but rather than doing like a Christmas-based novel, it would be maybe a novella or like an extra. It's like a little episode that I could put on bolt on the side, so it'd be separate to everything else. Then it'd just be a nice little, like one of the Christmas episodes in MASH, one of my favourite TV series ever, that kind of thing. And we've got some other ideas for little vignettes, really, off to the side, little stories that happen out of everything else, to the side of the main storylines. But yeah, lots of ideas, not much time. because it takes quite a lot of time to write a book. But I do want to do all these things again. That's why I want to do 4 a year instead of 5.5 and 6, really, because if I include the horror series I did, then it's nearly 12 books, so 6 books a year for the last 2 years, which is a lot. Vivian's read my books, Alex's and JD's. That's great. Deep dish apple pie with cheddar cheese, absolutely. Author event, count me in. Lol. We'd love to see Harry on TV. It would be a laugh, wouldn't it? It would be good seeing Grimm on TV. And Grimm Up North's a great title for a TV show, isn't it? And just on that alone, it should do really well. The humour in the books make them so amazing. That's nice. I mean, it's gentle humour, I think. It's not like every line's hilarious. It's just there's a natural humour to them, I hope. But then I think humans are generally quite humorous most of the time. We make light of things. You know, Matt can't help himself. He is Mr. Positive generally most of the time, but he does have a harder edge that comes out now and again. Rarely, but it's there. So that's a button I'd quite like to push. So you never know, I might do it in the next one. Harry's got a sort of slightly gravelly, dark humour, but obviously it's from the military side of him that keeps him going, and that's kind of the way the military work, really. Certainly the soldiers' humour gets them through. So yeah, I'm glad that you think there's a nice humour there. It's not as obvious, I don't think, as it's not as in your face as some other books, but it's nice. I'm glad you can notice it. We don't get bored with a series of books that keep us going enthralled and enchanted with the characters. That's true. I'm wondering how many murders can actually take place in Wensleydale. I think historically, the last murder was about 100 years ago. And then Grimm turned up and people started dying. But, you know, it's a story, isn't it? It's a fantasy world, it's fun, and we don't really worry about things like that, do we? No. Wensleydale's lovely, and Grimm's having a great time, and he's solving crime. Arr, that's what he's doing. And for some reason, I've just made him become a pirate. Arr. A bit of cake. And anything else? I've got 24 viewers. That's madness. There's a company that sells mugs that have its Grimm Up North. There's also a festival called Grimm Up North. And that, I think, was a goth festival or a metal festival. I can't remember which one it is. I know it's the goth festival in Whitby. I think Grimm Up North might be a heavy metal music festival. I'll have to check. But anyway, TV show called Grimm Up North would be good. So we're done, I think. Are there any more? How's that long has that been? See, that's been 35 minutes of me whittering on. Just blah, 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 blah nonsense. But it's always fun to do, and I like doing these. It's a nice way of just marking that another book is out. It also makes me realise how quickly time goes, because it doesn't seem long at all since I did the last one. Because it isn't. When was that? Yeah, end of February, March. Yeah, it was 3 months ago. So it's kind of flying, that time. Because you're busy, you're in the middle of a book. And it just goes, you know, my God, it's finished, it's out. Better write the next one then. So I will. Look at Midsummer, it should be empty of people by now. It should, yeah. I've heard some author. I went to Crime Fest in Bristol a few weeks ago, and some authors are kind of worried of becoming the Midsummer's thing. I think they worry that their books will become a bit like Midsummer's, you know, and have 82 books where loads of murders happen in Midsummer. I'm not that worried at the moment anyway. I think people are enjoying the characters. It's fun. Oh yeah, and Shetland as well is the same, isn't it? All those murders in Shetland. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I'm just enjoying writing books, writing great characters. I hope they're great characters anyway. Seeing how their lives unfold. It's all a bit of fun, isn't it? But yeah, I've got a bit of cheese and cake to eat. So that's going to keep me busy for all of 3 minutes. Maybe even only 1 minute as I hoover it up. So yeah, thank you. Paul Giametti, all right, I've got to search for that now. Paul, who is that? You've just said a person that Paul Giam. Oh, no, I know who you mean. He's an American actor. So you'd have to do a very good Somerset accent, wouldn't he? I bet he could. He does look, I can see how he looks a bit. Is he big enough though? See, Harry's quite a big chap. No, 6'3" is a big one. He's an ex-para. They're not small. They're not small at all. Marines are smaller and wiry. paras are like monsters, most of them. Oh, there's a trail running event called company called Grimm up north too. It's such a great phrase though, isn't it? Love the characters, but we hang up on we hang on till the next instalment because you get us through stuff. Oh, that's nice. If the books bring you a little bit of enjoyment, whatever, then that's fine by me. A lot of our people constantly saying the characters are like old friends, which is mad, isn't it? Really, that characters can become like that, but it's nice. So, right. I will leave you all now to your evening. It's Sunday. You have things to do. Not much, I hope. It's a Sunday evening. Watch a bit of Antiques Roadshow. Have a nap. Go to bed. Sounds like a plan. Who's in it? Me. Right then, everyone. Thank you very much for that. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you really enjoy Blood Trail when it comes out on Tuesday. Read it. Let me know what you think. Please, you know, if you think it's awful, maybe be kind. Reviews on Amazon are fantastic. Put them up there. That really helps. We authors, we tell ourselves to not constantly check Amazon reviews, and after a while you stop. But the first few days, you know, you can't help because you're desperate to see what people think. Just because that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You know, you're putting something you've created out into the world, and you hope people like it. And that's really where we hear it. We hear it obviously on Facebook and things like this, but it's those reviews on Amazon that we see more than anything. And again, I'm not expecting everyone to enjoy it. That's just the way it is. But hopefully most of you will. And if you do, please say so on Amazon, because that's brilliant and really helps. And it helps the book get noticed as well. So that'd be really nice. And the more people know about Harry, the better. So I think that's quite nice. Right, I'm definitely leaving now. I'm going to hit end live video. Have a lovely evening. Tea, apple pie, cheese, and the cake. That's me for the evening. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.